Welcome back to Level Headed Gamer. My name is Joseph. For those that haven't seen my past video, I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan. And I was really excited to play Monster Hunter Rise and see kind of how different, how unique it's going to be and what it's going to present. I'm sad to say that at first, my initial thought was I felt like Monster Hunter Rise was a step back. But let me tell you exactly what I mean by that. My first initial thought, it's a step back. It felt like the levels weren't as alive as Monster Hunter World. But then I thought it's not really fair comparing it to Monster Hunter World as it's a PS4 and a PC game. But then I kind of realized it's not even as detailed or as filled out even as Generations was. In my opinion, especially, I got to see all the levels in Generations, but the levels were really, they felt alive. They felt like ecosystems of their own, in their own kinds of way. This level Shrine, maybe I'm just, judging it based on one level. The Shrine level doesn't really feel like a whole ecosystem that's going on there. Not to mention, I think the graphics are just slightly better than Generations, and I don't think there's a much argument about that. Another thing, I kind of felt like a step back, or maybe it's them making it more streamlined, is there now you don't really track your monsters like you did in Monster Hunter World, or even the past games. There's just a red arrow pointing you towards the monster. You don't have to throw the paint anymore, or you don't have to collect tracks like you did in World. You just follow the arrow in a very kind of dauntless way, just go to your target and just finish the level. I personally am not a fan of it, but I'm sure maybe some of you newer guys or some people who want just this game to be a little bit more mobile will appreciate this change. It's not for me. I'm not feeling it. I like the more slower approach of Monster Hunter in comparison to something like God Eater or Dauntless. Also, certain weapons at first felt very stiff. Like Sword and Shield in Monster Hunter World, you could take the Sword and Shield and you could keep slicing and turning in every direction. Here you're not able to do that. You can do a substitute for it, but it's a little bit stiffer than it is regularly. And I'm an Insect Glaive main. Insect Glaive, I really appreciated the fact that you were able to press L2 on Monster Hunter World and aim your Insect Glaive at specific body parts. Here you have to hold R2 while you aim what you want and then let go of the button, and for some reason it's a little slower than it is in Monster Hunter World, but again, that's just like nitpicking, it's small things. I think the biggest thing really, besides the graphics and the world not feeling as alive as it did in the World of Generations, is that there's no in-game chat and even no Switch phone app chat at all, which is, I think, is a missed opportunity. But it's, if I have to be honest, it's a nitpick, because we'll be able to go out of Discord or something of the sort and play, kind of talk to your friends that way. But these are only a couple of things that at first gave me this feeling like, man, I don't think this game is going to be all that great. And then I was wrong. What I gotta say about the good parts of this game is that the combat is undeniably better. It's so much faster and snappier thanks to the wire bug that provides all this mobility, and the silk bind attacks just kind of spice things up in this game. At first, again, I wasn't digging. I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird, well, this is kind of different, it's something new that you can't get used to. But once I got used to it and you start jumping around, swinging around like Tarzan, I'm like, oh my god, I don't think I could ever go back. That's it, this is the new standard for me, period. Not to mention, they made traversal so much more fun. Palamutes make it so much fun to just get to the monster and get to the fight. I know I kind of contradict myself by saying that I like the slower pace of the game, but I can't deny that the Palamutes just make it so much easier to traverse the world in the game, period. I also appreciate that they took from Monster Hunter World the easy way to pick up items, that you don't have to kind of harvest each one. You can just run by, collect, and keep going. And carving monsters obviously is so much easier than it was before. You don't have to do one by one. You could just do them in groups. Not to mention, I really appreciate they brought over the shortcut system, the wheel, where you're able to sharpen your weapon with a whetstone, or you kind of set up what you want to get your things done very quick, and instead of opening up L1 or L button on Switch and just kind of switch overall, I gotta find an item, you're always getting hit by the monster. Not to mention, thank freaking god, playing co-op is so much easier. I did not like that bullshit Monster Hunter World where you had to watch the cinematic and only then can you invite your friends and you gotta shoot the... It's so much just unnecessary hassle. All that bullshit just made me completely not want to play co-op in that game, period. But this game, they're separating the single player and the multiplayer, and you could just do the hunts together with your friends. You don't have to wait for nothing. Not to mention the shortcuts for emotes and palico heals. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, such a small thing. Just again, as a fan, I like that they're making everything a little bit more intuitive in terms of the controls. With each game, they're just kind of trying to improve it more and more and more. I think generally speaking, if I have to kind of go over what I thought, is that I understand the limit of the hardware of Switch, but you know, I can't deny the feeling. I think Monster Hunter World is the best Monster Hunter game so far that I've beaten. And I know not everybody's going to agree with me, but I can't help it. Even knowing that the hardware is just weaker and I can't expect that out of Switch, I can't help but feel that I'm getting a smaller version of Monster Hunter. But it's not a bad thing. It's, you know, it's just going to be a different game because the combat, even though it took time to get used to, is absolutely fantastic. And I realized something, guys. It doesn't have to top Monster Hunter World or Generations. It's just a great alternative into the series of Monster Hunter for us to enjoy and just have fun. You know, there's no point in arguing which of them is going to be better or worse or whatever it is, because I can right away tell you Monster Hunter Rise is going to be enjoyable. How good it's going to be in terms of the kind of monsters you fight, how easy things are to do, and how integrated and how good it feels, you know, we'll have to see as the game comes out. But up to this point, there has not been a bad Monster Hunter game, and that's just a testament to Capcom how good they are at making this serious. Not to mention, I think they're one of the first looter kind of games. Diablo obviously being the first, I think the first, if I'm correct. And this also kind of reinvented that looter or dungeon crawling or whatever you want to call it kind of genre in its own way with collecting items. And I'm sure it was a kind of a preface to survival games, but I'm just kind of getting off topic here. I just think the game is going to be great, and I can't wait for it to come out. And I would love to hear what you guys thought, what you thought of my opinion. If you agree, disagree with me, let's have a conversation. Let's do it, guys. Let me know down below what you thought. And if you do enjoy this channel, make sure to subscribe. We're going to talk about Monster Hunter. We're going to review it. If you would like to see my character from Monster Hunter World, I can post that as well for you guys. All right, guys. Peace out. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.